So as a young producer, I just started back in May of 2024. So right after graduation, I waited a couple weeks and I started then. I did a little bit of training and then I jumped into doing weekend news and evening news. And it's been very rewarding. Producing has been very rewarding because you work all day or even just a few hours to produce this product to give people vital information that they need for their daily lives, or who they need to know who to vote for, or if there's crime in their area, they need to know this. So it's really quick turnaround day to day, as opposed to at state when we're learning, we have a whole week to put together a show with our senior show. So it's really quick turnaround. Sometimes you only have a couple hours, sometimes you have a full day, but you build this product and you finally see that end product at the end of the day, as opposed to other jobs where you work for months, years to see your end product. But no, it's a daily thing to see your end product. And as somebody that's so young coming into this, I'm working with people just a little bit older than me and also a lot older than me who's very experienced, and working with all these great, amazing people. I learned so much, and they teach me a lot because I make mistakes as somebody who's young and new to this program, to this profession. I mean, it's just writing, editing video. It's what I wanted to do, and I'm doing just that. An interesting news story. So I'm not a reporter, so I don't go out and talk to people and work on one story a day. As a producer, I work with every story that's in my show and then some. Interesting stories, especially evening news, you want to start off with the very important stuff first. So I have to go in, read background information, read the actual story itself, and figure out, hey, how important is this for somebody to know? So say it's crime. I work in Jackson, Mississippi. That's a high crime area. And every time there is a homicide or a robbery in the area, we got to get that out there as soon as possible. So always start off with that heavy, vital stuff that people need to know. And then right after that, you got to start off with how people are going to live their lives. So maybe it's elections coming up. So in 2025 right now, we have mayoral elections coming up. So we have scandals going on, this, and this. So we got to get that information out there as soon as possible, just so they know, hey, is my mayor doing this? I need to figure that out. So we got to put that right after that crime, or even if it's even more important, right before that crime. So I have to pick and choose what I'm getting out there. Yes, people are writing this for me most of the time. Some things I have to write myself from press releases or information that I read on the internet or talking to people over the phone. But I just have to pick and choose and really dive deep into each story I'm working with to put it in there and give it to the people. So I'm very new to Jackson, Mississippi. I first moved there in May of 2024, and I'm not really well versed of what goes on there. I didn't even know about who the mayor was until the scandal surfaced back in, I think, November, October, I don't know. But there's a lot of things that are going on that I didn't have prior knowledge of. And coming into a new city, even if it's coming back to your own city after you've lived in your college town for so long, it's really hard to figure out what's going on and get background information about these things. And when I have to write a small story that we don't have a reporter on, but we need to get into the show, and I don't know what's going on, I am a little bit overwhelmed by that thought. And if I don't know what's going on, what I do is I get up and I walk around and I just keep asking people about it. Like, what's going on here? I know this may be basic knowledge to you, but I just moved here. I need to know what's going on, but I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Never in your life, when even if it's in the workplace for reporting or even just in your life. If you feel overwhelmed, get up and ask somebody. It's the biggest helper, especially with producing, which is a job that you're doing 20 things a minute. So asking somebody for help is a great thing. And they don't judge you if you ask for help because they understand, because they were in your shoes, or they just understand what you're going through because you're doing so much at that time. So asking for help when I'm overwhelmed, it's great. But there was a time when I was overwhelmed, like with this Jackson bribery scandal. I don't know who this mayor is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to write about. There was one with, I think, the Attorney General. Don't quote me on that. But he was in a little bit of trouble with his indictment for this bribery scandal. And nobody was available for me to ask to, like, hey, can you write this for me? Or, hey, can you give me a little bit of background information? So I dove in, I read about it, I looked at our archives, I read about it. I got a little behind on producing my show from doing this, but that's the thing about working in news, that you have to be ready for anything that's thrown at you. So that diving deep really helped me put that story together, which it was only, 25 seconds of reading, but it was still information we had to get out there. And it took me hours to figure out how to put all that together, which is crazy. But I got it done. And then when I was behind on everything, then people were available to ask me, for me to ask, hey, I'm overwhelmed. Can you help me out with this? So it's just looking at your timing, looking at your sources, your resources with coworkers and archives and everything. Just work with that. Everybody has a story. When I interviewed Sunshine, who is a ray of sunshine around Mississippi State, he brightens everybody's day within housing department as a maintenance man. I had to interview him probably about 3 times, and each interview was probably about an hour. He seemed like a normal guy, which he is. He's a completely normal, mundane guy. And that was what was interesting about him. Yes, he went through a little bit of hardship in his life that I wrote about in my article that I brought out. But he's just this guy. He just lives his life. Every single person you walk by on the street has a story. And if you don't have time to stop a stranger and ask them their story, just smile at them, because you know that's what they need, because they're human too. Every single person is human. I can ask a random student that is on campus, hey, how was your day? And I could probably write a 500-article story about that if I just pay attention to the details, what he's wearing, what his expression looked like, how he was talking. I can get a good 200 words out of that, just that. But just paying attention to the little details, that's what makes a story, and that's what brings together telling somebody's life story, is just the tiny little details. And I love writing stories about just one person and their story. I hope I can do that in the future, and that's my dream. And it's just the details. Details. So I'm sitting in this room. It's a large room. I've been to award ceremonies in here. I've been to cute little luncheons here. I can tell you about those award shows, what everyone's wearing, what the mood was in there, what everyone was winning. And then I can take one person who won this prestigious award and not even talk about the award, and they still have this interesting story. So the man behind the camera right here, I can tell he has an amazing story. He works at State. He has a good smile. He likes talking to people. He likes comfy shoes. And he laughs, and everybody laughs, everybody smiles, everybody finds enjoyment in life, and they can tell a story of what enjoys them. So it's just amazing talking to people and telling what their story is. Social media is probably the most vital thing when it comes to journalism. It's in parts, it is taking over what some of us are doing, but in other ways, we can utilize that. So at a TV station, you can put your stories, your packages on social media so people will get it easier because not everybody has cable or broadcast TV anymore. So we got to get those stories out. So we at our station, we schedule our posts. So like every half hour, we have a post, just to get that circulation going. Even if it's something that's not even going on in our area, we get that circulation going. We tell them what's going on around the world. I think it expands people's horizons with just broadcast with what I work in. All I do is I tell local stories and then big national stories like plane crashes, the terrorist attack in New Orleans. We tell those big stories, but we don't get the little things like, oh, little Johnny wrote a book. And he's only 7 years old and he wrote a book, but he's from New Hampshire. And not everybody will get that from just watching your local TV news or just reading your local paper. They will get that from social media, which that's not really hard news, but there are hard news stories that you can get from other places. That was just an example. And we like to put that out there. And even if it's not us putting it out there, you can find this on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just scrolling through, just from somebody that's not even a journalist, they tell somebody's story. So social media is a really big outlet for people to get out there. It's a good place to expand people's horizons and even expand their mindsets instead of keeping it so secluded in your own local news. Which local news is very important, especially if you want to know what's going on where you're living. But it's just expanding your horizons is what social media helps you do. And yes, it is taking over broadcast positions, but we're adapting, learning how to utilize that. And it's very important to pay attention to social media, whether if it's your mom's Facebook group that she talks about quilting in, you can probably find a really good story in there if somebody's struggling to pay for their quilting supplies and that person has a story. Maybe they're just struggling because they lost their job, or they're just going through crazy medical treatments, or there's something going wrong in their local area that's just draining their bank account. It's just always something that you can learn from these social media communities. Mental health, it is something I'm working on. I was struggling with my mental health not too long ago, probably about last week, and I just broke down to my boyfriend now, my now boyfriend. He's hopefully soon it's something more. I broke down to my boyfriend about my mental health, and he talked to me, and he was like, I'm here for you. And always having those people here for you, whether it's just one person, whether it's your boyfriend, your friend, your parents, your brother, sister, or just a random person on the street that's willing to talk to you. Talking to people outside of your profession, not inside because they're going through the same stuff as you, which they're good to talk to too because they know what you're going through, but talking to somebody outside to get you out of that mindset, because with cities with great crime rate, when you work in journalism, especially Jackson or Birmingham or Memphis and New Orleans, there's high crime rate there, and you're covering that constantly every day, multiple times a day, multiple crimes, whether it's murder, robbery, whatever. It's really hard hitting on you. And sometimes you just need to get out. Take that PTO. Take it. You got it. Take a break. But just escapism. Also, when you're dealing with it, talk to people about it and don't let it escape you, because these are people, they matter, and it hurts you mentally because like these are people, and you just talk to somebody, get a therapist. But don't ignore these people, but also don't ignore your mental health. Talk to people. If you want to get a therapist, get a therapist. If you're against that, because I know some people are, talk to a friend, talk to your parents. But I'm still working on my mental health, but I'm not completely ignoring it. And I'm working on it, but you can work on it too. Don't ignore it. I'm still very new to this journalism workforce, but I've still done so much in these past, I don't even know, 7-8 months that I've worked in journalism. Never back away from a story. If you hear a story, good or bad idea, say you don't have any pitches for the day in your newsroom and you still need to work on the story just to get the day over with. Go for those happy stories. There's something cute going on at the Children's Museum. Go cover that. Or this person's going to win an award. Nobody's covering that. Go cover it. Go talk to these people. Tell their story. And coming out of college, it's really hard to grow those connections because you're very new to this place. I was new to Jackson. Very new to Jackson. The only connection I had was my sister went to college there, but I rarely went there and hung out with her. She would come up here to stay and hang out with me. But make connections. Don't be afraid to talk to a stranger on the street. Don't be afraid to get the mayor's number and call him. Just make connections. Go for it. Just call who you want to call. If you end up with the president's number, call him. Try to get that story. Just don't be afraid to jump in the fire. It's because even if you mess up in the fire, if you screw up, the day is awful, you have an awful day, you learn, you grow from it. I've made so many mistakes in these past few months that I have worked in journalism. I've put people out in the spotlight when they shouldn't have been in the spotlight, or I had a typo in a story and it just ruined my day. Just keep going. When you make those mistakes, you learn from it. You learn how to fix those mistakes by making those mistakes, or avoid those mistakes by making those mistakes. So it's just go for it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And it's very rewarding in the long run after you learn from those mistakes and work to fight against those mistakes. Don't be afraid to go back to your roots. I'm still in the South. So I'm not super far from home, and I'm not super far from Mississippi State, where I spent 4 years. Don't be afraid to go back to your roots, whether it's that mental escape you need to go to, or even if you want to reach out to people out here to try to localize something there where you are. So say state's doing some research, like you're still in the state of Mississippi working, and Mississippi State's doing some research, but you don't live in an area that's near Mississippi State, but they're still doing some research that could benefit the people where you're at. Do not be afraid to go back to your roots, whether it's Mississippi State or say you're working in Jackson, but you're from Biloxi. Don't be afraid to go to reach out to Biloxi and say, like, hey, is there anything going on with fishery, ocean stuff that we can localize and make local in Jackson, whether it's something about the economy or food production, whatever. Let us know what's going on. I'm from Alabama. My mother, I always text my mother when I'm down for stories, like, hey, Mom, can you help me? I'll always text your mom. She will send me stuff going on in Alabama, whether it's just crime or something going on in the legislature there, and I compare it to stuff going on in Mississippi, because people need to know what's going on around where you are. So just always don't be afraid to go to your roots, whether maybe you're working at a station in Washington and you're in Mississippi, or you're from Mississippi. Is there something going on agriculturally in Mississippi that you can do in, what was it, Washington? I almost said Oregon, but it was Washington. But don't be afraid to go to your roots. And I talked about the story aspect, but also don't be afraid to come back, see the people you love, or just see a place you loved, even if nobody you love is here anymore. So, like, in a few years at state, nobody's going to be here that I know, except for a few of the teachers. I'm still going to make an effort to come here, to go to games, to walk around, just see the campus that I love. Back in Alabama, Sylacauga, Alabama, I love going there. I don't want to live there again. Maybe I do, but I love going there just to see my family, see the people I grew up with, just to check back, see what's going on, and just enjoy where I came from and going back to my roots and talking to people. Talk to people.